ever feel like there's this like kind of black box around the whole academic publishing thing, you know? Like you pour everything into this paper and then bam, rejected without even reaching reviewers. Desk rejects, right?
It happens to everyone.
So disheartening.
Totally. And today we've got this, well, think of it like a decoder ring.
Ooh.
For these rejections. We're going deep into how to avoid them.
Love it.
Using actual advice from journal editors.
No way. Straight from the source.
Yeah. Excerpts from a Journal of International Business Studies editorial, actually written by the reviewing editors.
Ooh, juicy. So they're not holding back?
Nope. They're telling us exactly what makes them hit reject almost immediately.
Then what makes them want to share your work with everyone else?
Exactly. And they don't sugarcoat it. They start with this, well, kind of brutal stat.
Yeah.
65% of what's submitted to JBS gets desk rejected.
Oof. So like 2 out of every 3 papers.
Yep. Never even make it to a full review.
Okay, that's rough. Like trying to get into some super exclusive club where the bouncer has crazy high standards and this huge line behind you. So how do you make sure your research doesn't end up, you know?
Rejected. Got to get into the mindset of a reviewing editor.
Yeah.
There are scholars passionate about their field, but absolutely swamped.
Oh, for sure. Imagine trying to find a diamond in this mountain of rocks every single day.
That's their life. And they're constantly weighing this. Risk rejecting something amazing, that type I error.
Right.
Or spend time on a paper that's just not there yet, type 2. Either's good.
True, true. High stakes research roulette.
And to deal with that pressure, they developed this almost sixth sense for spotting the good stuff quickly.
So it's not enough to just have amazing research, huh? You gotta like package it up so it grabs them.
You got it. The editors were really big on this. Treat your paper like a good story.
Okay, yeah. Even if it's like super data heavy, quantitative stuff.
Especially then. Our brains, they latch onto a narrative.
For sure. Our listeners are all about those memorable details, makes things stick.
Exactly. And a good storyteller doesn't come up with a plot after the ending.
Right, that'd be so weird.
So no harking, they call it.
Harking.
Yeah, like deciding your hypothesis after you've already got the result.
Oh, I see. Like reverse engineering a story. Feels kind of...
Totally. Big red flag for reviewers. Makes them think maybe you're just making stuff fit.
Makes sense. So no fudging the research plot. But let's say we got that right. What about how the paper's actually structured? Like packaging to impress those reviewers?
Oh, well, first impressions are key, right? Your intro, that's got to be killer. The editors actually had this 4-paragraph structure they loved.
Ooh, lay it on me. What the magic ingredients?
So first up, setting the stage. Imagine you're walking into a room full of the top experts in your field.
Okay, kind of intimidating.
You wouldn't just launch into the super specifics, right? You'd give context.
Right, set the scene a little.
That's paragraph 1. Broad context why this matters.
Got it. So then what? No burying the lead here, right?
Absolutely not. Paragraph 2. Highlighting the unknown. The gap your research is going to fill. The mystery.
Ooh, creating intrigue.
Exactly. Then, 3, you give them a taste. Your approach. What you did, very briefly.
No keeping him in suspense for too long.
Exactly. And finally, bring it all home. The so what paragraph. Connect your findings to the bigger picture.
Okay, so theoretical implications, practical applications, stuff like that.
All of that. Why should anyone care? That's got to be crystal clear.
Yeah, I feel like that's where a lot of us, myself included, can sometimes trip up, get lost in the weeds.
What happens? But that discussion section, that's huge EE. We'll dig into that more later, but it needs love.
Noted. Oh, before we move on from intros, though, the editors mentioned this first and last sentence rule. What's that all about? Okay, back to this first and last sentence trick. What's the logic there?
It's all about focus, honestly. Editors, they can tell right away if you're a clear thinker. So first and last sentence of each paragraph in your intro, if you can read those and get the gist, you're golden.
Aha, so it's like a built-in BS detector for rambling. No more hiding behind tons of text. Love it.
Exactly. Shows you respect their time. And speaking of which, let's talk about language.
Ooh, yeah.
You've got this compelling story now, killer intro. But are you speaking the right language to impress the very people you're trying to reach?
It's like being invited to this dinner party, right? All the top scholars in your field are there.
I like that, yeah.
You wouldn't want to bore them with jargon, but you also don't want to sound out of your depth.
Exactly. The editors were very clear. Speak the language of the journal. Show them you've done your homework.
So read their recent stuff, get the vibe, all that.
Exactly. Don't overclaim. Don't be too broad. And nowhere is this more important than your abstract.
Ah, the abstract, right. Your one shot to make them want to read more. What'd the editors say about making those shine?
They had this cool test, actually, for if your abstract's too vague. Construct substitution, they called it.
Okay, sounds kind of intense.
It's not, really. You take a key idea from your abstract, right? Try swapping it out with another idea from your field.
Okay.
If it still kind of makes sense. Your abstract's too broad, you got to get specific to your work.
Ah, so instead of saying something generic like social networks are important for businesses, which, duh.
Right, exactly. You'd say something specific to your actual research question.
Got it. Make it unswappable. Okay, so we've got our narrative, strong intro, sparkling abstract. Feels like a good case so far.
It is, but there's more. The editors, they were big on this. Don't mistake a literature review for actual theory development.
Okay, yeah. Like, I've been there, you summarize everyone else's work and think, I'm done.
Right, but that's just describing the painting, not analyzing the brushstrokes. You know?
I like that.
Got to go deeper. They want to see that you're not just well-read, but you can find the gaps, offer new insights. Clear causal arguments were big for them.
So not just that two things are connected, but the why and how.
Yes. What are the mechanisms? And your hypotheses, they got to be more than just restating what we already know. Testable, specific, offering something genuinely new.
This is good stuff. It's not just what you found, it's all the thinking behind it, huh?
Totally. And just as important as that thinking is how you actually measure it. Even the most elegant theory falls apart if your measurements are off.
Like trying to measure a planet with a bathroom scale, right? Wrong tool for the job.
Exactly. Distal proxies, they call them. And they had this great tip. The separate pieces of paper test.
Okay, now I have to know, what is that?
It's so simple. Write your theory definition on one paper, the measurement you're using on another. Don't look at anything else, just those two.
Okay.
And ask yourself honestly, are these truly aligned? Does this measure actually capture the theory?
Wow. That's like deceptively brilliant because it's so easy to do, but you're forced to be honest with yourself.
Right. Got to be your own toughest critic. And on that note, the discussion section, got to be strong.
That's the grand finale, right? Bringing it all home.
Exactly. Connect those findings back to the bigger picture. Theoretical implications, practical uses, but word of warning, don't oversell it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
see right through that.
Oh, right.
Be bold, but grounded in what your research actually shows.
Makes sense. You mentioned earlier that author as prosecuting attorney thing. What'd they mean by that?
Think of your paper like a courtroom, right? You're making your case to the judge, the reviewing editor.
Okay, I'm with you.
Got to anticipate counter-arguments, show you've considered weaknesses, present your evidence clearly, convince that jury, the reviewers, that your argument holds up.
I love that analogy. And if you do all the stuff we've talked about, way a better chance of getting that revise and resubmit, not the dreaded desk reject.
Exactly. Now, I don't want to overwhelm folks, but the editors actually gave a checklist.
Oh,
80 questions to ask yourself before submitting.
80. Okay, that's a lot.
But think of it like your roadmap to publication. Each yes gets you closer.
I love that. Well, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. Mindset of the editor, crafting that narrative, nailing the abstract, the theory, the measures, even just the right language to use. This has been amazing.
It has. And this isn't just for like super senior academics. Whether it's your first paper ever or you're aiming for the top journals, this stuff matters.
Because at the end of the day, we all care about our research, right? And the better we communicate it, the more chance it has to actually make a difference out there in the world.
Perfectly said. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a stack of manuscripts calling my name. This deep dive has me fired up and ready to go.
And to our listeners, we hope this episode has given you the knowledge and, honestly, the confidence to navigate this whole academic publishing world. It's a journey, not a race, but with the right tools and strategies, you got this. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.